The White House press secretary, Josh Earnest, called Vin Scully to tell him he had won the Medal of Freedom. And seeing if you could play at least a portion of this, and then we'll bring in the White House press secretary who placed the call.
Hello, Mr. Scully.
Yes.
Hi there. My name is Josh Earnest. I'm the White House press secretary.
Oh, my gosh. I certainly know the name. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, we're fine.
Well, Mr. Scully, I know that you're really busy. I wanted to call and talk to you about something. Every year, the president gives out something called the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It is
yes.
It's the highest civilian honor that any president can give, and President Obama has given it out every year that he's been in office, and he gives it to just a handful of people. And this year, he's going to give it to you.
Oh, my gosh, no.
Yes. So you've had...
Are you sure? I'm just an old baseball announcer.
Well, listen, you've had a remarkable impact on the lives of generations of sports fans in this country, and you have brought a decency and a professionalism to this job that hasn't just captured the attention of generations of Americans, it's captured the attention of the President of the United States. And you've left quite a legacy.
I'm rather overwhelmed and humbled.
And congratulations,
Thank you so much, Josh.
It's my pleasure. Take care.
Let's bring in Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, who joins us from Berlin. How nervous were you placing that call there, Josh?
Dan, I was very nervous. You don't get to talk on the phone to a living legend very often, and it was a great opportunity. It was a real thrill.
So you must be nervous now talking to me.
I was just going to say, I don't know if you can hear my knees knocking on the cell phone here. But,
now, did you place the call to Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as well?
No, just to Vin Scully. Someone else had the honor of calling
cool.
the other two Hall of Famers who will be honored next week at the White House.
Where are you right now?
But I'm actually in a car. We're in Berlin, and we are driving to the German Chancellor's office, where the president will be sitting down for an hour-long meeting with Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. But I'm also happy to talk about sports too.
That's awesome. Now, what is your role when you have teams come to the White House?
Well, it sort of depends on who it is. Usually, I don't have much of a role. But when there are teams that have a little personal interest to me, then I will find a way to insert myself into a role. And earlier this summer, the Kansas City Royals came to the White House to celebrate their World Series championship from last year. And I was born and raised in Kansas City, a lifelong Royals fan. And so there were many Earnests from Kansas City who were in attendance at the event. And I had a chance to visit with some of the players backstage, and we had an amazing time. It was really one of the highlights of my White House experience.
What's the president going to do with all the jerseys he's received?
Well, we've actually been talking about that. I suspect that there will be an amazing display at the future Barack Hussein Obama Presidential Library. As soon as they get that built, there'll be a whole wing dedicated to those sports visits. I know that he's always enjoyed hosting those teams, and it would be you can imagine a whole wall filled with Obama jerseys.
Is there a sports viewing room? If there's a big game on, is there a place where you guys can go watch at the White House?
There's not one that is there regularly. Early in the president's tenure, I believe it's his first or second year, when the Bulls, his hometown Bulls, made a run in the NBA playoffs, and there were a couple of games that we turned on for staff in the White House Theater, where people were able to come by and watch the games. And then a couple of weeks ago, for Game 7 of the World Series, it actually happened to be an uncharacteristically warm November evening in Washington. And so they actually brought out some screens into the Rose Garden of the White House. And some of the staff was able to come by and watch Game 7 of the World Series from the Rose Garden there. And it was too late for me to stay up that late to watch it at the office. But some of my colleagues stayed, and they said they had a really good time cheering on. There are obviously a lot of Chicagoans who work at the White House, so a lot of folks are cheering on their hometown team there.
Are you allowed to get into a heated argument with the president over sports?
It may be the only topic in which that is tolerated. I don't think he really. He doesn't. He's not interested in heated advice on many things. But if you want to have a heated debate with him about last night's NBA game, he would welcome the opportunity to do that.
He's Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, joining us from Berlin. we're thinking about maybe the Teddy Roosevelt man cave. So a sports watching room for presidents, future presidents. Could President Obama make that happen before he leaves the White House, where he has a man cave there?
Well, my guess is that if he was able to survive for more than 7 years without a man cave, I think that he's probably just going to let somebody else deal with that, and he'll make sure that he gets a man cave in the house that he lives in next. The president actually has this routine where I don't know if you could describe it as a man cave, but there is a house there's a room in the residence of the White House where the president works every evening, and he does paperwork, and he's got television on in the background. And so I know he's watched many big games there as a result of just having that TV on in the background. So I don't know if it qualifies as a man cave yet, but it certainly is a place where he's watched a lot of games.
If he calls right now, you have to hang up immediately?
Yeah, he's actually just a few cars ahead of me. So if they stop and walk back and I have to abruptly get off the phone, you'll know why.
Would he be upset if he knew that you were doing this right now?
No, I can't wait. In fact, I can't wait to tell him that I did it.
Oh, cool.
He's getting ready to do he's going to do this hour-long meeting with the German chancellor, and then he's doing a news conference after that. So I'll have a chance to see him before he does the news conference, and he'll be excited to hear that I was doing something entertaining while he was working.
Well, congrats on getting the honor to call Vin Scully, and as you could tell, a very, very humble man, and I'm sure that he'll be overwhelmed with emotion when he gets that honor.
Yeah, he was such a gentleman, and you hear a lot about people who've got a reputation in the public eye for being upstanding individuals, and he totally lived up to the hype. So he's a really classy guy, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to get a chance to meet him in person. He's at the White House next week, and I know the president is too.
We know that time is winding down there for president and his staff, and it'd be kind of nice to get the Danettes, my guys, to go to the White House, and even if it's not to do a show or anything, but maybe on the property, something like that. Josh, I don't know if you can make things happen there.
Well, listen, there are a lot of journalists who are at the White House every day. There's a White House briefing room, and so if
Josh, we're not journalists. We're not journalists. We're friends. We're friends. That's all. We don't want to do a White House press briefing or any of that. We want to come and just hang out a little bit.
You come and check it out. Well, there's not a lot of room at the White House just for anybody to put their feet up on the coffee table. But if you wanted to bring a couple of your guys in to check things out, I'm sure we could make that happen.
Maybe we could just hang in the Rose Garden. Maybe throw the ball around a little bit. If the president wants to play some hoops, I'd be more than happy to play with the president. You think you can make that happen?
I don't know if I could make that happen. The president did fulfill his long-standing Election Day tradition by playing basketball on Election Day. This past Election Day, it didn't bring the good luck that it has often in the past. Unfortunately, but it was the first time the president had played basketball in a while, and he said that he had to hold back a little bit. He didn't want to show up on television the next day with a black eye or a busted lip or something. Well,
I would let him win if we played prior to January, but after January, then I would probably take no prisoners, and I'd have to beat him in a shooting contest. So
he would expect nothing less. He would not want you to go easy on him. I assure you that's true.
Good. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining us, and good luck, and tell the president we said hello.
So thanks, Dan. I appreciate having me on the show, man. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. That's Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.